Well, the weekend it started off really crazy. As you know, we had a lot of wrestling taking place. But, however, we'll be making up for what took place yesterday on GCW's America's Most Wanted, where we have two title matches and very interesting storytelling taking place. We even got, of course, ChocoPro 276 with three matches. Very interesting to watch. Then, if you know, this is the last final round of the first round of the Champion Series in NWA. As you know, NWA USA Heritage. And then, of course, we got week three of New Japan Strong with Detonation, featuring the Strong Openweight Tag Team titles being defended for the first time by the Motor City Machine Guns against the number one contenders, the Stray Dog Army, Barrett Brown, and Mysterioso. And of course, there will be no news updates today, but we'll see how this day goes for everybody. And of course, hope you guys can see I got a brand new haircut. I feel much refreshed now. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So let's begin with GCW America's Most Wanted that took place recently on the 16th of December, which was a Friday at the UCC. It opened up with a scramble match. We have Titus Alexander versus Jack Cartwheel versus Cole Radrick versus Alec Price versus Jordan Oliver and versus Nick Wayne. I thought this match was awesome for too many reasons. There is some field advantage in this one between Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. They know how to play two different roles in the scramble matches. One, they can be tag team when they need to help each other in order to be the last one standing. And then they go back to work knowing as they have to be as adversaries. That always plays out pretty well for them. But you know how the scramble matches, anything could possibly go. But however, it was Jack Cartwheel with a shooting star press onto I believe Jordan Oliver that sealed the deal for him to become the winner for this scramble match. Next up, we got Starboy Charlie taking on the most hated person on GCW. We're talking about always ready Matt Cardona. Now, Matt Cardona doesn't seem like he wants to hurt Starboy Charlie, but Starboy Charlie, he may be small, but don't count out his heart or his strength no matter what. Now, you know for a fact Matt Cardona would do anything to put him away. Not to mention, Cardona thought he had everything under control, but it did not work. He low blowed him. It did not work on him. He even tried the radio silence. Starboard Charlie kicked out, which was in disbelief by Cardona. But in fact, it was a jackknife by Starboard Charlie that allowed him to win, putting Matt Cardona in stun mode. Now, our next match, we have a three-way match. We have Sawyer Wreck versus Dark Sheik and Masha Slamovich. This match was absolutely insane. But there was a moment where in the start of the match where Sawyer Wreck made out with Dark Sheik. Now, I don't know what was that all about, but things can go wrong. But however, they use a door and all this, but it was Masha Slamovich with the inside cradle on Sawyer Wreck that allowed her to win the match. But in the end, Sawyer Wreck and Dark Sheik get to walk out together. So that's a happy ending right there. Next up, we got Lucha Libre Rules match. We have ASF, Commander, and Aries taking on Los Vipers, Latigo and Toxin, along with their team captain, Gringo Loco. Now, Lucha Libre rules are always one of the best things to watch. I mean, personally, for me, I watched Lucha Libre as a young kid, and I always been in love with it. Even though I wish I could have been a wrestler like them, but it did not happen. And I thought it was pretty fun, but the ending was impressive where we see a triple pin after Gringo Loco tried the Gringo Bomb onto what's his name on ASS. That gave Team Gringo the win. Now our next match is the GHC Extremes match. We have Pagano taking on Joey Janela. Now these type of matches, anything could go. Weapons, chairs, tables, ladders, whatever they can find to beat the living crap out of each other. That's always been the forte. But however, in this case, it was a package pile driver by Joey Janela to Pagano that allowed him to retain the GCW Extreme Championship. Now, our next match, this was a very interesting one. We have Jimmy Lloyd taking on Willie Mack. Now, Willie Mack, as you know, he's been known throughout the wrestling world in the independents, several major promotions like Impact Wrestling and all that stuff. But Willie Mack, what he's capable of. But he puts up a good fight, but it was in the end a frog splash by Mack onto Lloyd that allowed him to pick up the W. Now, our next match, this is a feud that's been heating on for quite some time. We have Effie taking on the most sadistic, evil son of a bitch on the planet. We're talking about Charles Mason. Charles Mason, he would do anything. Basically, he is sadistic. He has been he targeted, not to mention Alley Catch, uh, Effie's Boosie tag team partner for apparent reason. But however, if you guys remember, that same messenger that showed up during the match between both um, Teo Valkyrie and Alley Catch showed up with a box that contained the garage that normally Charles Mason used it. But thank God for Alley for showing up. Who this feud with them is not over. But when they think Boosie had everything under control to hurt Charles Mason, some mask, um, a mercenary showed up and attacked them both. But I had a feeling who it was. If you guys didn't notice the body type, I had a feeling who it was that attacked them, and it was my suspicious. What's confirmed? It was Pero. The rivalry between Pero and Effie has been well documented. There was many times where Pero questions Effie all the time, but now it appears that Pero aligned himself with Charles Mason. But however, when we thought they were gonna done for, thank God for Dark Sheik showed up with a baseball bat that made Pero and Charles Mason packing. Now, you probably ask yourselves, why with Dark Sheik? If you guys remember back in the LA Fights versus JCW, it was uh, Charles Mason nearly tried to hang Dark Sheik during that match, but Dark Sheik hasn't forgotten. So that's pretty much okay. So we'll see what happens then. Now, our next match is the GCW World Tag Team titles. We have Los Macizos, Ciclopse and Medio Extremo taking on um, Rockness Monster, Yuma, and BHK. It was a fun match. I personally enjoyed every moment of it. I think it was pretty cool. But in this case, it was another frog splash by Cyclops to BHK that allowed them to retain the title. Now, our main event, it was the GCW World Title between the a-hole Tony Deppen and Nick Gage. Now, keep in mind, Tony Deppen felt while Nick Gage was the one in rehab, he was the one carrying the company on his back. He felt that this is his time. He doesn't give a damn about anything. He feels he should be the one leading the company. However, there is one thing that Tony Deppen did not experience is blood. When he saw his own blood being spilled, he was shocked. But He should know Nick Gage will make sure you don't leave the match without being bleeded. And not to mention, he brought the pizza cutter. But it took the power driver that normally Nick Gage used as a weapon did not work for him, but it was an avalanche power driver on through the door that allowed him to finish off Tony Deppen once and for all and have Nick Gage retain the title. I thought this was a pretty good show. Now, to make sure everybody knows what's been going on, as you know, we had Hijo Vikingo and Blake Christian face off. Um, I believe that match ended in favor of. Let me look it up. Um, this was a dark match. We had Hijo Vikingo versus Blake Christian. It finished with Vikingo winning. However, you ask yourselves, why did this match was not broadcast? Well, AAA made it perfectly clear they are strictly forbidden to stream any matches from Hijo de Vikingo. But however, Vikingo's match in PWG will be on DVD, which they're safe. So basically, they had a loophole. It's too bad that GCW can't do something like that, but that's how it is. So I think that's pretty much it. What we have for GCW. I believe it's time for ChocoPro. Okay, ChocoPro 276. So we only had three matches. Our first one is a singles match. We have Miya Yotsuba taking on Antonio Honda. Now you know these type of matches. If you ever seen Antonio Honda, you know he's gonna throw in some comedy involved, playing the guitar, trying to get a read out of your hand. However, Mia did have some perfect advantage to control the match, but however, it's the experience by Antonio Honda that gave him the opportunity to pick up the win, and he put Mia in a submission, forcing her to tap out. So I have to say she did pretty good, but we know she'll grow up even better. Now, our next match, we have a three-way match. Chiko Shikawa, Sebastian Dwight, third time being here, and of course, Masahiro Takanashi. Now, this was a fun match. Now, Sebastian, he is a clever dude. I don't know exactly what he is all about. He knows how to play it smooth. He even used Chiko Shikawa as a weapon. That was crazy. And then when he was done with that, he put Chiko Shikawa outside. So it was like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's a smart idea. That way you can get the much better advantage to pick up the win. However, the match could have won in favor of Chi. She had Sebastian Dwight right where she wanted him, but Masa took advantage of the opening and double pin both Chi and Sebastian, giving him the win. Now, our main event, we have a tag team action. We have Sayaka Obihiro teaming with a person I never heard. His name is Anarco Montaña, taking on the Big Apple, Mei Suruga, and of course, her tag team partner we have seen so far, Masanume. I thought it was a pretty fun match. I love watching Mei Suruga when she's wrestling because she is a little bit devious. She's a bit faster, and I think that's what sets her different from any other competitor we watch. We cannot forget that we praise her for that high-speed match with Azumi back in April, but it was a lot of fun. But in this case, once again, the teamwork between Mei Suruga and Masanume gave them the win when they applied a double pinfall. Um, Masanume had Sayaka in a German, but however, Mei Suruga to ensure they win applied the jackknife, doing a double pin on to Sayaka Obihiro, giving them the win. Now, the Jonkin tournament was very interesting. I did not anticipate. Now, sometimes we get one of those competitors, it's their first time they get lucky. Now, Mei Suruga got eliminated in the early rounds. Um, Maya Yotsuba managed to get to the semi-final rounds, but it did not go, finals. But nope, no look. Masa didn't either. But it was, of course, Sebastian DeWitt who picked up the win in a jockey tournament, getting his first win for the piece of chocolate and giving him the perfect win. So I thought it was great. So I'm sure we'll see more of him on the next episode of ChocoPro, which I can't wait because we have the debut of Colors members, Hikari Shimizu making her debut. I'm looking forward to toward that match. But right now, let's move on with NWA USA. Okay, NWA. Now this is the final leg of the first rounds of the Champions Series. Because we had competitors from Team Rebellion, Team Gold, Team Rock and Roll, and Team Pretty. Now, however, we had the match between La Rosa Negra representing Team Pretty taking on Tao Valkyrie representing Team Rock and Roll. However, the match did not proceed and did not continue due to a unforeseen thing that we did not that I did not anticipate. It turns out things got out of hand between both Tail Valkyrie and La Rosa Negra. Apparently, Rosa Negra got um, injured in the process, but Tail Valkyrie refuses to let go, so they try to separate her. But a result, because she refuses to listen, NWA did announce that Tail Valkyrie will be suspended until 2023. But however, because of this, Team Pretty get 3 points in the process. So that means um, they're still in the game. Now, our next match, we have Joe Alonso representing Team Rebellion taking on Mercurio Team Gold. Now, I wasn't sure about this match completely, but Team Alonso did put up a good match, but it was Mercurio who pulled off a somewhat version of the unprettier that Matt Cardona does and allowed himself to win. So in the process, Rebellion got 6 points. So that means that they got 6 points in the process. As for Team Gold, they only got zero. Now, no, Team Rebellion got zero. They remain at 6 points. But however, um, Team Gold did have 3 points in the process. That gained them 5 points, so that gives them a total of eight. We do have our next match, Ella Envy representing Team Pretty. We have Genocide representing Team Rock and Roll. Now, I had a feeling that Envy would do anything in her power to ensure she cheats. That's their name of the game. But however, it did not stop the strength of Genocide. But Genocide, with an impressive knee strike, gave the biggest win right now for Team Rock and Roll, giving them the the process of 10 points. They receive 10 points lead, so Team Prettier ends with 8 and 10. So they did announce that Team Pretty is out of the Champion Series, and of course, Team Rock and Roll advances in the next round. Now, our next thing we have is an interview by May Valentine interviewing Father James Mitchell talking about Max and the Impaler. It appears that the feud between both Max and Natalia Markova is far from over. It did show that in the fun, this is the last match that will determine who will go to the next round. Will be Team Rebellion or Team Gold. So we have Max the Impaler and Ashley DeBron representing Team Rebellion, taking on Natalia Markova and Roxy, who represents Team Gold. Now, you know for a fact that it's going to take a lot to put down Max the Impaler. Max the Impaler is the most dangerous individual, but Max played the smart one, tried to drag Ashley DeBron's body in order to tag in. But it was, of course, a big lariat by Max to Roxy, giving them the big win. So, however, in the process of this, they gained 5 points. You add up to six, that's 11. As for Team Gold, they get 0. They're stuck at 8. But in this, it was announced that Team Rebellion advances in the next round, which is a huge disappointment for Team Gold. But we're going to see what's going to happen. We only have Team Tyrus, Team Great, Team Rock and Roll, and Team Rebellion continue on. So we will see what happens in the upcoming Tuesday for NWA Power. And I think that's pretty much it for this one. Let's go to our final thing we're going to do, our last review, NWA, no, and New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong with Detonation Week 3. Okay, New Japan Strong. Our last review we're going to be reviewing. We're in week 3 of Detonation. Now, usually with the opener, we do have, of course, Alex Klavlov and of course Ian Riccaboni. But however, the one thing that was interesting, Bateman shows up because he believes that this will be the night of the Stray Dog Army. Now, Bateman is scheduled to have a singles match against Jacob Austin Young, while Brown and Mysterioso will be competing for the Strong Openweight Tag Team title. So that is something that he knows he can be proud of. So we're gonna see if this will be the night of Stray Dog Army or the Morris Machine Guns will reign supreme once again, making their first title defense. Now, let's talk about our first match between Jacob Austin Young versus Bateman. That match, brutal to the bone. Now, you know how methodical Bateman can be, and he's always been that way. You know, chop after chop and all that. But it only took a pile driver to put him away, and boom, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Now let's talk about our next match. We have Bad Dude Tito, the only non-Australian member of this faction, taking on Bullet Club's very own Kenta. Now you know Kenta how he is. He is the most dangerous individual on the planet, but he's facing a much powerful person that we've ever seen in New Japan Strong, and that is Bad Dude Tito. I thought it was a pretty good match. There was moments where you would have thought Bad Dude Tito could have had an upset, but however, the referee's eyes were gouged out thanks to Kenta, but it did give him the ability to do the one thing we all know he's very good at, is trying to cheat his way through by low blowing Bad Dude Tito, then rolling him up, giving him the win. Now you would have thought this would be interesting, but that's how Kenta is. But there is one match I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Kenta in, and that match is against QT Marshall. I think QT is gonna die. So that's another discussion that we'll be talking about. As you know, all of the New Japan Strong events are pre-taped, but we'll see what happens. So let's move on with the interview by Emily May talking with Fred Rosser. Now, Fred Rosser knows, as you know, the Team Filthy has been a thorn in their side for far too long. Not to mention their alliance with Jay White, the leader of the Bullet Club. But of course, Fred Rosser, he is not going to back down no matter what. He has to strategize against a big individual like Kratos. Now, you know Kratos will do anything to ensure that the Openweight Championship returns back to Team Filthy where it rightfully belongs. So that's the game plan, but we'll see what Fred Rosser does. Now let's get to our main event, which is the NJPW Openweight Strong Tag Team titles. We have the challengers, Stray Dog Army, Barrett Brown, and Mysterioso, taking on the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. Now, we all know the reputation of the Motor City Machine Guns. They've done it all. They've been tag team champions in various promotions. You know how that rolls. But will the Stray Dog Army pull up an upset? I thought they could have, but however, in a certain point of the match, there was a misfire by um, Barrett Brown to Misterioso, and it could have cost him that, but it took one dirty bomb by the Morrison Machine Guns to Barrett Brown to allow them to retain the strong openweight tag team titles. They once again reign supreme, and this is why they've always been declared as one of the best tag teams in the world. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in week 4, and we'll find out who will be the next challengers for these titles. I'm sure there'll be a long line to be witnessing. And I think that's pretty much it. And I think we're not going to be doing no new updates today. So let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we got more ChocoPro, but however, we do got some interesting wrestling events that I might have missed that I haven't seen yet or reviewed. We got the latest Tokyo Pro Wrestling, where it's sort of like a tribute to Mizuki. I'm kind of curious about that, and of course, we got the House of Glory Revelations and several others. Now, I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. As we speak, we do have the latest Stardom's event. I probably will not see that throughout the week. If that changes, then I'll do those as well. Um, as I said, the weekend is crazy, but that does not stop me from enjoying doing this, what I like doing for all of you, reviewing what events we definitely can love and enjoy if you guys haven't seen them. So I think that's pretty much it. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.